start it up, Yvonne. Let's go. Start it up. Any moment now, Yvonne. Just go ahead and press that start button. Yvonne, you motherfucker. Start the goddamn match before I lose my goddamn mind. Start the game! Everyone look to the right. To the right. Oh. Look to Yvonne, you non-right looking... Yvonne! Yvonne, just Yvonne, say it. Say it. You're pulling me. You're pulling me. Yvonne, stop moving. Listen up, you piece of shit. Tap it once and then roll. Tap it once. Yeah, I hear you tapping it twice.
But I swear it's one. But we're busy and stuff.
Well, I'm busy.
I'm busy too.
You're always asking for me out.
No, I'm not.
What messages am I ignoring according to you? Hey, welcome back to the Troubadour. Don't. Yvonne, put the fucking fork down.
Everyone is like that. You yell at me especially hard. You
want me to start?
Sorry.
You want me to start?
I actually asked if you had your blood pressure checked.
I think he's healthy.
Have you heard the way he yells?
I need you guys to let's point to the front and then point to the back. Again, I'm sorry for raising my voice. Anyway, Yvonne loves to watch Asian podcasts.
I did not say that. You're the one that said that.
Podcast is here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you came around, not because I don't want to hang out with you.
Hello. Welcome to We Were Fighting Before This, episode 1, where me and Yvonne will put aside our differences and try and find a common middle ground. What were we fighting about before this?
Well, the first thing that you said to me when I walked in was, did you just wake up?
Okay.
Or you look like you just woke up.
I apologize for that. I know someone once told me this, that you shouldn't say to a girl, hey, you look tired. Hey, you look this, you look that, because it kind of implies something. You never want to hear you look tired when they just look normal, and it makes them feel like, oh wow, is it because I didn't wear makeup, or like is there something wrong with me?
The worst part about this is that I do have makeup on. So when you said that to me, I was like, what? It's not even that I don't have makeup on. You say like, oh, you look tired, because then you're like every other boy. But you said that to me, full face, full beat.
I think I should be allowed to say you look tired if I feel like you look tired. And also, I already apologized for saying that, but you continuing to push me on it is reinforcing me to not apologize. This is a lesson in like friendship dynamics, that when someone admits fault, you shouldn't keep pushing. You should appreciate the fact that they apologize.
Someone please tell me I'm not crazy for this, that the way he just explained that was actually psychotic.
What? That is not psychotic. That is just proper social decorum.
It's too early for this. I already like zoned out a lot of what you were saying.
Well, that's what we were fighting about before this. We started this little, I don't like calling a podcast, but it is what it is. Because Yvonne doesn't like hanging out with me that often unless it's content. So when we were traveling together, I pitched the idea, oh, Yvonne, we should do a podcast together, but secretly I just want to hang out with her because she just never comes over anymore. Hold
up. Okay. Everyone rewind to the Truth or Drink video where I said what I would like to do more, and I said hang out more. And who's the one who ghosts me at the times that I like reach out to him?
Wait. Before we start, I actually had a question. We're doing this because we're good friends, right? This podcast.
Great friends.
Now, would you say we're best friends? You ever have the best friend conversation with someone?
Oh, like, do you think we're best friends?
Yeah. Have you had that conversation before?
I have.
How did that go? Well, who was it with? And how dare you have a best friend that's not me?
Shut up. I remember this actually really clearly. The last time I ever had like a best friend conversation was when I was at EDC. Oh, maybe 2019. It was with Leslie. It almost feels like if it were a relationship, but a friendship. But I said to her, I was like, I think you're the closest thing I have to a best friend right now. And then she's like, oh, same.
See, that's interesting. You said the closest thing to a best friend, but not a best friend.
Well, it's like, it's leading there because like, I feel the closest to you is what I'm trying to say out of everybody that I know.
Mm-hmm.
And like eventually we became best friends.
So we're not best friends.
You can have a girl and guy best friend.
Oh, not this. I also struggle with the idea of naming someone as my best friend. I will say, I don't believe in the whole I have multiple best friends stuff. Anytime I say, well, I got a few best friends, it's like, well, that's not the definition of the word best. It's a cop-out answer.
You're so like, I think you can have multiple best friends.
There it is.
Yeah.
It is.
We already are like 5 minutes in and we have polar different opinions on this.
There's a Chinese proverb. It's called 脚踏两条船.
I've never heard of that one.
You want your legs in two different boats.
Oh, yeah.
You heard of that one?
But this is different. This is not like that sounds more like relationship.
Yeah, but your version of friendship.
No, because
I have multiple best friends. It's like you gotta be monogamous with your best friends as well.
So crazy. Have you experienced something where like I might be your best friend for something, but someone else you might really click with for something else, and they're really good to you and also that way, and you also feel closeness to them?
Yeah. I guess an easy way to put this is I have a gun and I'm gonna shoot one of two people.
This is not best friend scenario. That's like
a best friend scenario.
Hostage scenario where
and
like
you can only save one. You can only save one.
That's like saying you have a mom and a dad and you can only pick one when both are your parents. You can have two best friends and feel affection towards both and not want to shoot either of them.
Yeah, I know. You don't want to. No one wants to be shot, but you have to pick one or they both get shot. That's the question I'm asking you with your best friend.
Yes, but the thing is that would never happen in real life, so I don't have to shoot anybody.
Answer the question.
Who is my best friend?
Okay, fine. It's me and Leslie. Okay, your girl best friend, your guy. Do I get the title of guy best friend?
Okay, can I say that like I actually feel like, okay, this is where we might differ. I feel like with my girls, I have multiple best friends because I have had such good connection with them. Like I would probably name my top 3 girl best friends.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Just so you know, all your girlfriends are probably watching this. Go ahead.
I don't think they would be offended. I think Myung, Leslie, and Lily.
Oh, I know all 3 of those people.
Yeah. Like I think those are my top 3. I don't think anyone would be offended by not. Like it's just I'm not offended if somebody else has their best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Would you be offended if one of those girls didn't put you in their best friends list?
No, I don't think it has to be reciprocal.
It's what you say, but deep down, you probably feel different.
No.
All right, what about the guys?
For guys, stop. I almost don't want to say it just because you're such an asshat sometimes.
What about the guys?
I've got to have other guy best friends.
No, Yvonne, you don't have any guy friends or guys in your life, let's be honest.
Oh.
That's something we'll talk about later.
And he doesn't let me forget it.
So
let me tell you.
Just say it, Yvonne. Just establish there's probably new viewers watching and they need to understand our relationship.
Okay, fine. It's you. It's you and Scara.
Yippee, huh? Me and who?
You and Scara.
Scara? What has he done for you?
Oh, he's done a lot.
Do you remember all the things I've done for you?
I do. You both have done a lot for me. Are you kidding me?
I think I did more than Scara.
Are you seriously friendship jealous of Scara or competing with him?
More like a dad, and I'm more like the cool older brother that looks out for you.
That is just so not true.
Oh, thanks for the compliment, Yvonne. I'm glad to be your best friend.
Yeah, what about you now?
Well, I got multiple best friends.
Yeah. Oh, now name every single one of them.
Well, for the girls, it'll be you and Lily. Mm-hmm. And because you guys fulfill different kinds of like friendship.
Now he agrees with what I was saying. This is crazy.
Well,
okay, you have a gun now. Who are you going to shoot, me or Lily?
That would be really hard. That would actually be hard. I think I would make a choice if I had to, but it would be really difficult. And probably depending on like how I feel that week.
That's crazy.
Because you and I sometimes fight and me and Lily sometimes fight. And depending on who I'm fighting with that week could change the outcome of who gets shot. But you guys fulfill different roles. Yvonne is more my culture, but Lily is more my... We share similar views on friendship and ideology. But one thing you both have in common is you guys are peacekeepers and you guys are both really easy to yell at, which I think is what draws me to both of you. Because I prefer a friendship dynamic where there's a power imbalance. And also my relationship, which is something I'm working on. When it feels like it's even.
Did you say also your relationships?
Yeah, I feel like when I don't have that power imbalance, I lose confidence in myself, and it's not good for anyone. So I need to be in a relationship where I have an overwhelming power dynamic over my SO, or they have it over me.
Or they have it over you.
Yeah.
So you feel like you can lean one side.
Yeah. I don't like being in the middle.
You have problems.
Anyway, that's why I think me and you work really well, is because like I get to yell at you a lot. But, you know, to be fair, when you can yell back as well, it's not just one way.
You're making it sound like it's one way.
It's not one way.
I yell back.
Yeah, you yell back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
That's why this works.
That's why this works.
That's why this works.
Chelsea doesn't know any of this. Her mouth is open right now as so many things you're saying. You know that, right?
Chelsea, I want you to know a lot of this is just for the cameras and definitely not how I feel.
Yvonne, tell us how you really feel when he's yelling at you.
For those who don't know, that's Chelsea, our producer. This is going to be a long episode.
Yeah, that's a lot to unpack, even that one question. Throughout the years. Oh.
Don't play victim.
Let me too. Are you serious? You're yelling at me. You tell me not to do
Okay, sorry. This is your platform. This is your moment.
Yeah, let me speak my truth here.
Speak your truth.
Okay, but what were you saying? Did we interrupt you for something?
No, go ahead.
Okay, when Toast yells at me, it depends on what it is. Okay, the more I feel like it's unjust, the more triggered I am. And the more that it's something that I did mess up or I'm like really bad at, then I think it's funny. But if he's yelling at me and I'm playing League of Legends with him, I want to... Sorry, what can I replace with the word? I want to... like, you know?
Well, Toast, how do you feel when Yvonne is yelling at you?
Oh, I enjoy it because it's just friendship banter. It's just jokes. And I don't take it too personally. I understand what banter is, and some people just don't.
You're giving, it was a joke. Why are you offended right now?
I will say, recently I started feeling bad. Not necessarily for yelling at her, because from talking to her, I realized now I inflicted some deep psychological scars on her, to the point where sometimes I would compliment her and she would be like a beat dog, like flinching. It's like, oh, he's saying something nice. Here comes the sarcasm, the butt, the underhand gut punch. And that made me feel guilty because I didn't know how much of an effect I had on you and your self-worth.
Good.
And, I want to apologize for that and just know that I didn't mean to be like an Asian parent, and I just wanted you to be the best version of yourself. But I see that the way I went about that has caused you some trauma.
I feel like my parent just apologized to me. I don't know how I feel after years and years. But yeah, when you compliment me, sometimes I can't tell if it's a backhanded compliment. Like when you'll say like, "Whoa, thank you for rotating the dragon," and I'll be like, "Excuse me?"
Yeah. And, it's something I'm going to work on. I realized what I say to you had an effect because we were at Korean barbecue once. And this was a whole argument for 2 days that me and Yvonne had. And our OTV manager, Henry, came over and said to you, "Hey, would you like to order more meat?" And Yvonne said, "I'm good either way. I could eat some, or I can I'm pretty full. Stop." Mm-hmm. And I just made a comment, as I always do, because one thing I give Yvonne a lot of flack for is she doesn't like making a decision either way. I'll give another example. For one of our podcast meetings, we gave a range of time, 10 to 11. And Yvonne split it down the middle. "Hey, want to meet at 10:30? And when I saw that, I'm like, classic Yvonne.
What do you mean? That's
it's like
normal.
Yeah, it's normal to you because it's like it's the middle, right?
Yeah.
But it's like it's a time thing. There's no middle in time, really.
But there was, because clearly that was a middle. If you're saying between 10 or 11, let's do.
But you chose
I've had
the
people
10.
do that to me.
You choose 10:30 because it's the middle, not because 10 is better or 11 is better.
Well, 10 seems a little early. 11 could be a little late.
No.
Yes. Somebody validate me on this, please.
Like numerically, yes, 10:30 is in the middle, but you should have picked a time just because it's in the middle.
And I was arguing with him at K Barbecue because I was just thinking like I could eat more. If Henry wanted to eat more, that would like sway me, Then I'd be like, sure, I could. Or if I don't eat it, then I save the calories. It's a win-win either way. Then he was arguing with me for days about this. And
I was not okay. Look, I wasn't arguing for days. I said it at the dinner place, and then like you brought it up the next day at breakfast. And when you did that, I'm like, it was like something that was still on her mind, even though to me it was a passing joke about how you always pick the middle option.
It's not always on my mind. It was also a joke that I thought of in the moment when we were having breakfast, and I want to tease you for teasing me all the time.
We spent the whole day. That night we were getting dessert and we were still talking, and then we roped our entire friend group into it.
Yes, because it's okay. Now we're gonna rope the commenters, anyone who comments on it, to put in your input and just tell me if that's valid or not.
I think it's valid. Look, your thinking is you want Henry to pick a choice that he prefers and that you would go with it because you want him to like.
There's a lot of factors in this.
Okay.
If Henry was like gathering intel on who might want meat, and then he has like a number of people, okay, it's worth ordering.
Yeah, you want to be in the neutral.
I could, like if he wants to, like I'll count as a person. Or if you don't, no problem. I'm like content. I could eat more, but like I'm content, so I could save the calories.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that answer.
There's nothing wrong with it.
But you were giving me shit for that answer.
I was giving you shit because you always put the neutral answer to like 90% of the things in your life, which there's nothing wrong with. I'm just pointing out, neutral Yvonne added again with another neutral answer.
If I have a strong enough opinion, I will say yes or no. And usually I'm just chill, or like I want people to be happy, so I go with the vibes. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think that's something that's bad. I think it makes me flexible. I'm a flexible person.
Yvonne was voted easiest person to travel with by our friend group.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing. I think we appreciate you for your flexibility.
You make it seem like it's a flaw.
See, that's why I'm bringing this up, is that I don't see it as a flaw.
Okay.
I see it as a personality trait.
I'm going to interject really quick because I did see a video of you yelling at Yvonne in Japan when she couldn't find the right restaurant.
Chelsea, you just open a can of worms with that one.
There's constant cans with so many worms. Oh, this was great. This was the part where like I felt like I finally I had something on him because
okay. For context, this is the classic friends are out, someone needs to pick a restaurant or discussion that will always happen where it's a bunch of people. It's like, where do you guys want to eat? Okay, go ahead.
And I suggested Conveyor Belt Sushi. This place that is pretty good for content. Maybe if people, whatever. There's like a conveyor belt. There's a giant iPad. And it's just sushi is really cheap in Japan. So like you can get, it might not be like the best sushi, but for value wise, it's really good. And so I was like, you know what? This place also might not be like the best, but we should go for fun. And then Toast is like, this man does not like to travel 10 to 15 minutes away from his vicinity.
That was 20. It was like a 20-minute car ride.
He doesn't like to travel 10 to 15 minutes away from his vicinity. So when he heard that it was 20-minute train or 25-minute train, he was like, oh, hell no. I'm going to find a place around us. And guess what? We ended up going around longer because the first place he took us to could not take us. It had a giant line. Second place he took us, also full. Could not get in, no reservation. And so guess how long this took? This took about 40 minutes going from place to place. And we also walked and traveled the combined amount of time it would have taken to get to the Conveyor Belt Sushi place, plus longer. We ended up going to another place that Scar found that we had to wait an hour for to get in because they couldn't take us in. We just had to wait, and we weren't sure how long. It ended up being an hour.
And the worst part is that Scar's restaurant sucked.
And this is also the restaurant that Toast asked me about the podcast.
I feel pretty bad about that. And a real friend wouldn't make someone feel bad about something that happened. But extra context, you took Sydney and Lily to that same sushi restaurant 2 days later. And they both looked me dead in the eye and said, that was the worst sushi they've ever had.
Not ever had.
And they waited 45 minutes for that.
Hey, my shortcomings do not help with your shortcomings.
Hey, I didn't say that, but let's not pretend like you were bringing them to some nice-ass conveyor belt sushi. She was leading them to a shitty restaurant, and I saved them from that experience.
Did you save us? Because we ended up eating at the restaurant that you said wasn't good anyway.
No, well, that's Scar's choice. That wasn't my choice.
It didn't save us from anything that night.
I took us to a nice curry place the next day, though. And you know, hey, look, I recognize that I shouldn't have taken us to sushi places that was really popular because they wouldn't be able to see us. I needed to have that foresight. But I will not apologize for saving us from terrible sushi. A fate you inflicted on two of our friends.
We ended up going to another terrible place. It's not like we went to a really good place and you're like, wow, you saved us from going to a really bad place.
And I was also told by Sydney that when you guys were at the restaurant, you asked both Lily and Sydney to never mention the sushi place to me, knowing I would rub it in your face.
And I wrong? Was I wrong? Look at what's happening right now. Are you serious?
I would justifiably give you shit for it.
Yeah, and you know what I thought? I thought this podcast we would talk about stuff, and all we've done was argue. Right.
You know what? That's fair. Let's find common ground.
We apparently have none. Every topic we've been opposite sides.
Let's turn a new leaf.
Question: between you two, who has the better recommendations for restaurants?
I would say, well, Yvonne took us to a KBBQ place day one because she saw it on TikTok, and that place was not good either.
No. That place was not on TikTok.
Who was it? Why did we go there?
My friend pointed at it before and was like, "Oh, that place is pretty good."
She pointed at it.
Yeah, when I was in Japan with her last.
And that was all it took. Did she say it was good, or was she like, "That's a bad place, don't go there"?
No, she pointed at it and said, "Oh, that's pretty good." But it might have been a different place with a cow icon also, and that was also red.
I would say still Yvonne. She'll take you to places that's either good or popular on TikTok. I'm generally okay. Look, when it's a bunch of us out and someone has to make a decision, 70% of the time I have to make that decision, and it gives me a lot of anxiety because the worst thing you can do is pick a restaurant, show up, and it's full or closed, which does happen quite often on a short notice. So I try and book things in advance for the possibility of eating there. There was one time I had like 3 reservations at 3 different places at 3 different times because I just don't know when people are like, hey, let's go eat.
I did ask him for my birthday to make a decision because I had decision paralysis and I didn't want that pressure.
And I was proud of you for saying that.
Yeah.
Because it was very easy. It's like, okay, she's the birthday girl. She doesn't want to make a decision. Let's go karaoke.
Mm-hmm.
Toast, I know you said before we started filming you wanted to talk about Yvonne's dating life. Yvonne, did you want to share with us how it's going?
Yeah, let's do our weekly Yvonne's dating life update. I think this should be a recurring segment on the podcast until Yvonne finds a guy. How long have you been single, Yvonne?
I know I stopped counting.
3 years? That's not that long, right?
3 years? No.
Has it been 3 years?
No, where's my time? I feel like it's been like 1.5, 2.
2?
1.5.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a serious relationship.
Well, not unfortunately, but like I've only been in serious relationships or things. Yeah. I have never been in a casual thing ever.
Is that something you're interested in?
Maybe maybe a couple of years ago, but right now I feel super settled. Like I feel like I almost don't even want to waste my mental or time if it's not for someone that's worth it.
You're looking for a husband.
Yeah.
So how old are you, Yvonne? Just for the audiences.
34.
34. What's the like dating as a 34-year-old single woman in LA?
Oh God, I feel like it's so hard because I feel like your dating pool just shrinks because you're older. You can't like I don't want to date someone who's 23.
Why not?
Your frontal lobe has not fully developed. You are still young, like a child.
Or if they're really mature for their age.
If they're really mature, but oh my God, 23, like 25, 26 is pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would prefer older because the thought of somebody whose emotional intelligence is potentially even lower.
Than
not
yours?
there yet. Excuse me?
Like, you need them to have higher emotional intelligence than you?
No. Like they can have like just equal or a little bit under.
Mm.
Why are you smiling like that?
I just like listening to you, how you pick your men.
How I pick my men?
Yeah.
Well, usually a qualification that I really like at first that draws me in is I feel like they're really, and this sounds really like duh, but they're typically really, really genuinely nice. Like gives me very good people vibes, good person vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you met anyone like that in the last couple of years?
No.
What are you doing right now to find these men? Are you kind of like it'll happen kind of gal?
I think I'm it'll happen when it happens. And then I go to events naturally. I go to meet people, meet new friends. I'm someone who I don't like having our friend circle just be our friend circle. Like I want to branch out and I love meeting new people because I think it's the healthy way to have relationships with people, because in our circle, everyone either streams or does content, or like there could be sometimes power dynamics or relations, whatever it is. And sometimes it's just really refreshing to have people that have nothing to do with that. And so I still love the group that we have, but I also love having different groups of people that I can like hop around and just enjoy different aspects of life with.
Do they need to make more money than you?
No.
Do they need to be more famous than you?
No. What's wrong with you?
Do they
That's
need to
you?
be taller than you?
Oh, sorry. You're asking about my SO?
Yeah.
Potentially. Taller, I would hope so, because I'm 5'2". I don't have much height requirements, I will say. The people that I've dated, 5'7", 5'9", 6 feet.
Did the height ever, like, was it a plus when they were a little taller? Are you a size queen is what I'm asking.
Well, I like these people all for their personality.
Yeah, okay, Yvonne, the personality. Of course we like people for their personality, okay? Everyone says that.
Oh, except for my first boyfriend. My first boyfriend, I thought he was cute. And he was he's 5'9". He's not like super, but he's still decently tall. But I saw him play badminton, and we had mutual friends, and I thought he was cute. Yeah. So that was the one that I wasn't friends with, but the other people I had already been friends with. So I didn't like them because of their height or appearance or anything. Maybe they would have liked if I did, but I initially was really drawn to them because, like I said, I felt like they were a really good person. Do short kings have it tough?
I'm 5'7". Is that short king? I think it is by like Western standards. 5'7" is the average height for East Asian, except in Korea where they're a little taller. I'm also 5'7" and like a 1/4 inch. All right,
It's giving like I'm 5'8" with shoes. No, I don't
have
think
the
so.
confidence of a tall man.
Sometimes he does. He does. I don't think Toast is short. I just think it's like there's so many people that just say like 6 feet. And I do think it's a very toxic standard to have. It's kind of like if you were to say the equivalent for girls, it's like, oh, I need you to have like, I don't know, B cup or something at minimum for you to like them. It's
minimum.
Shut up. Shut up. But you know what I mean? It just feels like it's something that you can't really help that, you're born with. And it just feels bad if someone's like, oh, you don't meet XYZ requirement.
Yeah.
I get it. It's just everyone has their preferences, of course. Like you have things that you're attracted to, but yeah.
Yeah, I think being short, like I'm 5'7", which is like short-ish, but not short. It's something you can't really control.
Mm-hmm.
You can just focus on the other part. And if you're interested in a woman and she's not interested in dating someone like under a certain height, you're not going to change her mind, right? I think it's especially difficult on dating apps because you can set the preference for height. And it's like if you ask a guy, it's like, all right, only show me hot women, right? And you can check that out. Check that. People will probably check that. And it's probably the same for girls who are just looking for something more physical. It's like, show me guys above 5'10", and there's nothing wrong with that. That's their preference. The whole like discussion about short kings, I think it's overblown just because there's nothing you can really do about it.
I mean, so many people who are shorter than 5'7". You'll be fine.
Yeah. There's also a lot, like girls are generally shorter than guys.
Yeah.
If you're like a short king, date a short queen. You know?
I will say it was really nice that he was one of the people I did was taller, and then like at festivals and stuff would grab my phone and like vlog everything for me, or could like see everything, and just there are some perks. But then I know some people who are taller are like, hey, save the taller guys for us.
All right. So we talked about what you're looking for. Now here's my question as a toxic man. What value would you say you bring to the table? What's your best quality?
What's my best quality?
Yeah. It's called, okay. I know my way around women, right?
I'm sorry, what?
The most important thing you can do as a man is DV.
Domestic violence?
No.
Sorry, what? I don't know what else DV stands for.
Demonstrate value.
That's crazy. There's no way you said DV.
That's what DV stands for, no?
No, that is not what it stands for.
I'm very sorry. Demonstrate value. And that's what dating is. It's two people like in the peacock dance, demonstrating value to each other, right?
Well, it depends. It's like if I have to try that hard to demonstrate my value to you, then maybe you don't value what I have to offer that much. I think what everyone has to offer is something quite different.
Well, you gotta show it. Like if you're holed up in your room and no one ever sees you, you can't like show your value.
They're not gonna catch me when I throw out my trash at the trash chute or when I get my mail downstairs.
No, you gotta.
Damn.
Let's say there's a guy you're actually interested in. Okay, how would you get your feminine wiles into him? Have you chased the guy before?
Well, almost every guy that I've dated, I've told them that I like them first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
But I
bold.
don't know if that's chasing them, but I think I start building anxiousness or anxiety in me, and it's like, I just gotta say it or else it's there. And I don't really care that much about the outcome. It just has to like come out, and then I can live my life.
Oh, you're like confessing. What is this? A K-drama?
No, it didn't feel like that. Well, I think I don't feel that bad about rejection from a friend, which happened to be like a lot of, or like the people that I like typically, or like my first boyfriend, it was like a stupid high school thing where it's like, hey, who do you like? Like, tell me, like that stuff when you're 10 years old.
Well, it's like, who do you like? I think you know him pretty well. He might be in the room with us.
Did you ever do that?
No, but it's like the classic elementary, high school,
Yeah.
like two friends. Who do you like?
It was high school. Well, I actually didn't want to tell him because he was seeing somebody. So I was trying to be like, no, respectful. And I was like, no, like no one. And he just like kept prompting it out of me. And I completely annoyed. And I just like, okay, he would just keep naming people in our friend group. And I'd be like, no. And then I just, got to him. And I was like, God. And then a month later, him and this girl just stopped talking or separated, I guess. And then, yeah.
Let's build your perfect guy. Let's say we're at the character creation screen. And this is your boyfriend. And you can set any attribute to any value.
Extroverted.
Extroverted.
Funny. Really good person to family and friends.
Okay.
Puts in effort to or likes to take interest in my interests.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about physical attributes.
Oh.
Height.
I mean, 6 feet was nice, I will say.
I knew it. I knew it. This is what all women think. They say height don't matter.
Shut
but
up.
when it comes down to
It doesn't. You baited me into this. You said build the creation.
I said build a perfect guy, and I guess the perfect guy is 6 feet
I
tall.
hate you.
All right.
I'm only speaking from experience.
Okay, let's move on. Race. Don't answer that question, Yvonne. I can't believe you were actually going to answer that question.
What?
You were about to imply there is a perfect race for you.
Oh, perfect is not the word. Preference is the word. Yeah, preference is. I have a good reason for this. Like, I'm Chinese, and I really like if they would be able to communicate with my mom. Who I like mean a lot. Like, I've grown really attached to my mom throughout the years. So it would mean a lot if they could communicate with her.
Hog size. Hog size.
Chelsea's like, what? I don't.
No preference?
I'm not a size queen.
No, size queen?
No.
Okay. So 6 feet, kind to you, funny, extroverted.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of girls are looking for a guy like that.
I know. And I'm 34. Market's rough out there.
What's the market like? What do you see out there in the 30 space?
Not just nothing. I don't know how to describe it, but I don't meet people that often, new people. And then what I see out here are not really people that fit the qualities that I like. There's still people who are maybe trying to make something of themselves, and I prefer someone who's kind of more settled. I don't really want to be on the. I would support if I ended up liking somebody. I would support a lot of what they would want to do, but just preference wise, someone who's more like settled, maybe.
Do you think it's harder to date as a 30 single woman or a 30 single man?
Woman. Yeah,
because your options are worse than the man's.
I think it's harder to find a good guy than a good girl out there, and maybe I just think that there are so many girls I know who are so kind and so nice and pretty and amazing. And then for me, it's like, how many guys do I know have good EQ or like being able to not be, because so many guys I know are very logical versus feeling. Some people can balance the two. And then for some, I've had this issue where if he didn't think that it was right, he would argue. He would not argue based off of how I felt or how he could see the situation could be for me. It was if he felt like he could, if it clicked in his brain that it was, if it didn't click yet that it was right, that I could feel that way, or that he didn't do the thing that he did that could make me feel that way, then he would argue. And I don't want that.
There isn't a lot of guys like us out there. I do agree with that.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of great girls.
If you could be on one dating show, what would it be?
I think I would actually do better in Singles Inferno because the way they flirt on Asian dating shows is more subtle and it's more like the actions and being like considerate, and it's like, ooh, he pulled her chair out for her.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, with like Love Island's like,
Yeah.
and like charisma. Like for me, I struggle to thrive in an environment where there's a lot of extrovert because I'm very introverted. I think if you paired me up with like dude bros, I would just wilt like a flower, right? I will not. They would eat me alive. Especially the women who goes on those shows. They like.
Well, you would feel, for you would feel small, is how you feel, like small inside.
Yeah, I would. Well, it's also hard to say because like I'm also a content creator.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think it'll be funny. You could charm them.
Oh, I am intimidated by strong women. And I think girls who go on Love Island are all like strong minded. No, I don't think you would survive on Love Island.
Oh, Love Island?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, no.
Dating wise, I don't. It's more of a documentary of the single woman who hasn't known the touch of a man for a decade.
Okay.
On National Geographic.
Really, that's what you think of me?
You wouldn't go on Singles Inferno, Yvonne.
I would. Singles for Infernal would be the one that's good because there's no touching as much. So my problem is I don't like, some people flirt. They think it's flirty for them to, really touch or like, grab or whatever. And I don't like that. I only like that if I already like you, So that's why I like Singles Inferno.
So that's step 2 of the Dennis system.
What?
So you know how I said DV, right? Which stands for the Demonstrate Value. That's the D. There's a ENNIS. But I prefer the DEN system because I don't like the last 3.
Mm-hmm.
E is to engage physically, to kind of break that touch barrier, which is like one step above like, flirtation. But I agree with you. You should not break that touch barrier until the girl is comfortable with you.
It might be different for other people. I personally get very like jumpy through touch at times. So what?
So you don't like being like engaged physically unless you guys are already like pretty bantery.
Unless we are flirting, unless we like each other or like we feel like there could be something there, then that's okay. But if I don't feel that, then it gives me the complete opposite feeling right off the bat.
What dating show do you think I would be good on?
Singles Inferno because you're shy.
Yeah, that feels like an easy one for shy boys.
Yeah.
I think I would also do great on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
That's
not dating specifically, but I want to be on that show and Jeopardy.
Yeah. You see that?
Because even though that's not dating, if I do well in it, people will see, oh, this guy's pretty smart. The girls value smart guys.
Yeah, of course.
Do they? Okay. Would you consider me a smart guy, or is my too smart in the sense that it becomes calculating?
Too smart in the sense that it could be calculating.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing, right?
No, I think okay, sorry. The preference would be that you're smart, but cannot use your smartness for evil. You're still like golden retriever, very wholesome, nice. And then like your smartness only goes up to like a certain cap.
Right.
Because once your smartness exceeds a certain cap and it feels like you can manipulate social dynamics or people or anything or your significant other to like achieve like a scenario that you want, that's bad.
Do you think I do that?
You're really good at Among Us.
That's a video game.
Yeah.
That's a video game.
I don't think or know enough, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you have an opinion on this.
No.
On me specifically.
Okay, I don't think you use it for evil. I think you could use it for good.
I could use it for
You
good.
could use it for good. And
Have
I think
I used it for good before?
Yes, I think I've seen you use it for good.
Where I manipulate people with...
Not manipulate people, but it's kind of like how certain things have to play out in order to achieve like the good ending. And maybe that's manipulating, but maybe that's also taking the right steps to talk to certain people to make sure they're okay with XYZ before you do XYZ.
I do have some degree of self-awareness, but I think having self-awareness is a bad thing sometimes because you're self-aware too much that you think you're self-aware, but you're actually not self-aware. Does that make sense?
Have you had a situation where that happened?
I think people who are self-aware but not truly self-aware are people who would, for example, not seek therapy.
Uh-huh.
Because they think, oh, well, I know my own emotions and I can handle it.
Yeah.
Which is the camp I feel like I belong in. Because I would say I'm a pretty smart person. And I say, oh, I don't need therapy, but I've never taken it.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I need therapy because I think I don't need therapy because I think that I have that self-awareness that isn't actually all there.
Hey, I'm going to tell you that that's true and that you do need therapy.
What makes you say that? I'm
And
sorry for raising my voice, by the way.
Are you serious? This is a very clear sign as to why. And I think even it's kind of like exercise. Like a healthy person could have therapy, and it's like part of you doing exercise, but for your head or for your brain. And so I've talked to you throughout all the years. As much as you say I got issues, like you got issues.
What are my issues? Again, I'm sorry for raising my voice.
You're insecure, and what you need for the power dynamic to date somebody, whether it is swaying one way or the other, is not. I don't feel
Who
like
told
you
you I
should
was
do that.
insecure? Is that what you think?
You said that.
Oh, no, but I was just saying it for the camera.
Oh.
You don't think I'm insecure, do you?
You are insecure.
What makes you say that? I want examples, specific
you're
examples, actually.
Well, and you're really afraid of rejection.
Let's break that down. What makes you think I'm afraid of rejection?
Well, because I'll often suggest things for you to do sometimes, and then you won't want to do it because you're afraid, like, oh, what if they don't blink?
What? We never had this conversation. Is this in a romantic context? Because
Yeah.
I've never been rejected by a woman before.
Then why are you so afraid of it?
I'm not afraid of rejection.
Really ask yourself, are you afraid of rejection?
I'm just shy.
Yes.
I'm just shy. I'm not
There's
afraid.
nothing wrong with being afraid of rejection. That's like a really normal thing. But I think the power dynamic thing of being insecure and needing something to compensate for that, not that like everyone is insecure, but I think I don't even know if you're striving for it, but being comfortable in that relationship setting. The way I view relationships is you're a team and you guys have equal efforts, and even if you are maybe more successful career-wise, maybe they are better or more successful at other things. And it's a more equal thing, and I don't think having a power dynamic in a relationship is healthy. Even if there is like a career dynamic that is different, that should not be the dynamic in your relationship or what makes you feel confident. So yes, I think you need therapy.
I will say I'm way more comfortable at a streamer party than a regular party, because at a streamer party, I know who I am.
Yeah, people know who you are
People
too.
know. So I can like
Yeah.
approach people with confidence, even if they actually don't know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I can be more like secure and loose and friendly. But at a real party, I'm like in the corner sipping on my drink, bobbing my head kind of type beat.
I mean, I get that. It's like social anxiety. Plus, you know most of the people in the scene. You could probably like bounce
But
off
I'm
of
like
at
the
least
same
one person.
I don't change. Like I'm still the same person in both scenarios, but because of the environment, I behave very differently. And I feel like if I was more secure and confident, I can be the same person in both scenarios without needing to rely on, oh, they know I'm famous, so now I'm going to be myself.
Well, think of it this way. The way I also feel very uncomfortable in social situations where I don't know anybody. And I've actually forced myself in a situation where I've gone to like a premiere for a movie. I've gone to places by myself, strictly with the intention to see how I would do in a without a friend, without something to lean on, and like how I could achieve that, I guess. And so I went, and I've actually made friends that way because I didn't know anybody, and I just strike up conversation with people. And I'm not like so casually chill while doing it. I have the biggest social anxiety building up as I'm doing it. I just make myself do it. And then it made me, and I still am uncomfortable with it at times too. It depends on the mood. Sometimes it's your mood, but it's kind of like the more you do it or you practice it, you feel better. And you don't mind rejection as much, and you think that the reward for potential someone that you can meet that's cool is greater. And even if you don't, like the times that a positive outcome comes from it is worth all the times that you don't, that it's whatever.
I think that's a healthy way to look at it. My solution to that is to be so famous that any party I go to, they know who I am. So this way I won't ever feel insecure.
Seek therapy. Seek therapy now.
You and me and Yvonne take therapy together. I think in this dynamic, I'm not affected by the things you do to me, but you're affected by the things I do to you. Well, I just feel bad that she's affected.
That means you're affected.
Well, it's like, hey, can you work out those issues so I don't have to think about it kind of deal? Do you think we need like a friendship therapist if those exist?
I would love to have that. I would love to have them listen to our conversation and hear what they have to say.
Okay, but I do ask that this relationship therapist is a man.
Why?
Because when it's a woman, they tend to side with the girl.
And you don't think as a man they're going to side with the man?
I think a man can be more impartial.
Oh, you think so? Because men have been historically really great at being impartial.
It's a relationship therapist. They are supposed to be impartial.
Oh, then why can't it be a woman?
I mean, I'm just, okay, look. It's going to be like, okay, I had this thing with my sister where she does something wrong, but she runs to my mom first and says her side of the story first. And then it's called something bias.
No. But
Like
then
first impression bias.
Okay.
And she first impression on my mom, and she comes into the conversation thinking I'm the bad guy. That's what you're going to do.
we're not going to have first impression bias. We're going to have them listen to our conversation and they can depict what they pick up from that.
Okay, that's fair. Let's take a clips of all our best hits and give it to them.
Yeah.
But you can't cherry pick the clips.
Oh, don't worry.
So if you
I don't
pick-
think I need to.
Okay, look. Okay, yeah, no, I'm
Can
down.
someone compile something that the therapist could see?
Yeah, and include the part where she fails at a level in a video game 30 minutes in a row, and then show the part where I blow up. Don't just show the part where I blow up, okay? You need to give a context of Yvonne failing one simple jump for an hour.
This whole thing that he's saying right now, also clip this as a part of it.
All this, clip that too, okay? Clip this.
easy
Clip this,
problem.
okay? This gaslighting that's happening. Do you like my painting?
You painted this?
No, I own it.
Oh. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, we needed something to fill this space. It's for those, I'm not sure if there's gonna be listeners who aren't watching the video, but it's a painting from an episode of SpongeBob where Squidward and SpongeBob takes an art class at the local community center, and this is what Squidward paints. It's called the boat and the brash.
And then the teacher says what?
More like it belongs in the trash. And then Squidward gets really upset because SpongeBob is his novice, but he becomes a better artist than him. We should fill this space with a different thing every week. I filled it with Squidward this week, so
Okay.
next week is you.
Yeah, I'll think of something.
I also don't know how long we're going to be doing this for.
Yeah, I don't know how many episodes this is going to be, but I guess we're going to wing it.
This might be the only one because I don't know if our friendship can survive for much longer.
Yeah, I feel like we unpacked a lot and we didn't even unpack all of it today.
Let's try and find something positive. I'll find a common ground.
Okay, yeah. Every episode we should find one common ground thing that we have.
I don't hang out with a lot of people, but you are in the top 3 of people I hang out with.
Do you ever want to make more friends?
Oh, see, I got 3 close friends.
Mm-hmm.
You, Scar, and Lily.
Mm-hmm.
And Scar, I barely see like at all, even though I live with them. I don't think so. I realized that I'm one of those guys that is more focused on their significant other.
Mm.
And there are different schools of thought. Some people think your SO should make up for like 30% of your life or 40%, 50%. I feel like I'm someone whose significant other would take up 70, 80% of my life. Like I want to focus on them. I want to make time for them. I hang out with them. Not all the time. One big thing for me is actually like sleeping alone. Like if I'm dating someone, 3 days out of the week, maybe 4, I need to like sleep alone. Because
Interesting.
too much space, too much vicinity, I can't decompress because I'm an introvert. When I'm spending time with someone, my alone meter, goes down. And once it reaches 0, I need to recharge. And it's like, hey, I gotta go be alone.
Interesting.
That being said, I want a relationship where my SO is like the majority of what I like to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I need more friends. I would like more. I would like to strengthen the bonds I have with the friends I already have. But I don't want a wide friend group.
I see.
I don't need a wide friend group.
What are the good top memories of us?
That we share together. Think of all the great times we've had.
Yeah, birthday. My birthday present.
Yvonne loves fancy stuff. So if you ever want a quick way to her heart, get the most expensive thing you can, and she will be happy. I got her Louis Vuitton hair clips.
That's true. Oh, well, those are thoughtful.
Okay, where are they? You wearing them
I
today?
told you this in confidence, and you're using it on the podcast. I lost them. I lost them.
Louis Vuitton hair clips that I personally picked out.
I know, and the thing is, I liked them so much, and I wore them everywhere all the time for like 2 years. And then one day, I didn't know where they went. So you know that they were well used and loved.
I wouldn't know because they're gone.
Yeah, and I even tried looking them up again, and I can't buy them anymore because they're just not in stock.
They're not in stock anymore. But when I first met Yvonne, she was drunk at TwitchCon. And I was like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. I would say I'm pretty stoic back. What was your first impression of me?
I first met Toast at a Riot Mixer a billion years ago when he played Hearthstone, but he didn't know who I was, and I did not join offline TV yet. He just asked what rank I was, and I said rank 9. He was like, oh, that's pretty good.
I was pretty nice, right?
Yeah, he was nice.
First impression Toast is great. A lot of people tell me it kind of goes downhill once you get to know me.
Well, he was in Canada for the first half year that I was working for OTV, so I only really heard him occasionally over the calls of the meeting calls.
And I was pretty nice and polite then.
You didn't say anything much.
Those meetings are useless. Go ahead.
And I would say that he had a lot of respect, what felt like respect for me, near the beginning of when I actually started working there. So actually, I do remember this one thing. We were in the living room once, and then someone asked him like who his favorite in the house was, and then he said it was me. And then I was taken aback. I remember I was like, what? Like, I felt like I've just been like existing through time. But then you were also, I remember we would talk about your relationship problems at times here and there, and then you were pretty nice and normal then. And then I feel like my memory cuts to the Crescent House where Pico Park and that era happened, and then that was when it shifted from a time of, well, maybe it was also Fuller House. Was it Fuller House?
And the more time I spent with Yvonne, the more hate I feel for her. But when we first met, it was great. I thought you were great.
He was really polite, and then over time you could really tell how comfortable he felt.
Which is a nice thing. You know, you don't want to just know. Would you rather have first impression Toast or the Toast now?
Toast now, because he says he's starting to turn a new leaf.
You know this is genuine. Like, first impression Toast was just being polite, as we all do in our first meeting with
And now
someone.
his EQ is slowly going up.
My EQ is super high now.
Slowly going up
My
from
EQ
where
back
it was
then,
at the bottom.
My EQ back then was more like there's a right and a wrong to every discussion.
Yeah, that's like about 0.
But there is, you know. Okay.
There's no gray area.
My EQ now, I still believe that there's a right and a wrong, but not necessarily a correct, if that makes sense.
Like morally correct, right or wrong at times, but maybe correct as in...
Now I think what answer makes the situation better.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the past, it wasn't that. It's like, what answer is right? What answer is wrong? But they don't necessarily lead to a better situation.
But you still think there's a right or wrong to every answer?
I always think there's like one that is more logically valid than the other one. Logically valid, not emotionally valid.
And you spend 70% of your focus on your SO.
Yeah. But I don't tell my SO that. I don't say like, hey, logically you're wrong, but emotionally I'm going to say you're right. I always think, okay, emotionally, what's going to make my SO feel better?
That is correct. Yeah,
So yeah, I'm learning.
You are learning. There are things I feel like you trigger me sometimes as a man that you've done that have been done to me.
Like what?
This whole logical thing you got going on.
I am speaking my opinion and not pushing them onto you.
Oh yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. It's flashbacks.
How did we get here? We were supposed to be talking about positive, nice things, remember?
Oh yeah.
How did it derail so fast? What happened to us, Yvonne?
I guess it just goes as
we were
fast
talking
as
about the good memories we had.
Yeah,
and
we
then
had great memories.
You had to go and derail it.
I went and derailed it?
Well, I was trying to stay positive, and then you brought up like...
Oh. Do you always have to blame somebody?
No, no. Well,
Because what happened here? Let's just rewind a little bit, like 2 seconds. You literally just blamed me and said I went and derailed it all.
And it's not like a logically incorrect.
But was that not like a kind of like a 2-person thing going on? Because there's 2 of us talking here. It can be we both derailed it. Like
if you pulled the parking brake and I had my hand on the wheel with my foot on the gas, one person derailed it. Okay, but let's end on a positive note. Let's not focus on the fact that you derailed it.
Okay. I'm gonna let that one go.
Well, I really enjoyed this podcast with you. I felt like the time flew by, and I would love to do it again if you're down for it.
That felt long to me, but I'm down to do it again.
Oh, it felt long to you?
Yeah,
I enjoyed every single second. Wow, look at time. Has it really been an hour and 30 minutes? I feel like I can sit here and talk with you all day, Yvonne.
I feel like I'm the therapist, or like helping him with therapy in some way.
Well, viewers, thank you all so much for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this little conversation me and Yvonne had. Let us know what else you want to see us talk about and debate about. As you can see, we're often on both the same page and different pages.
Often different pages. Sometimes 10% same page. You know, I'm shocked. I'm honestly impressed by how, like, I knew at times we'd be on the different pages, but I just didn't think it'd be this much until today.
I think we're on the same page for most things. Okay, for the record, before we say goodbye, I'm playing the character of a toxic man for the podcast. Okay? Can you tell them? Can you tell them that I'm an ally to women off camera?
Hey, just end it.
I've been told I'm an ally to women.
Who has said that to you?
You said it. Lily said
I
it.
have not said that.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
I have not said that.